Welcome back to the Overclock workshop. This week we're doing the big beam cannon. I actually gaslit myself into thinking that we were doing the minigun today, and I was sort of mentally preparing myself for that. But no, it's the Shard Diffractor, which is the most minigun adjacent gun in the game. I do consider them two of the most similar weapons, or the two most similar weapons. Despite obvious things like, yeah, I know that the assault rifle and the other assault rifle are very similar. Is there another assault rifle?
Drac.
I guess. Well, like the Sabata and the Burt and the Bulldog. It's just like, I know they're all just pistols, but to me, in terms of when it comes down to function and just what, I don't know. I do think the Shard Diffractor and minigun are the most similar guns though overall. So it makes sense, and that's what we're doing next week. Spoilers. Might have guessed. We've said
We're finally gonna finish up Engineer.
We are.
It's happening.
So the Shard Diffractor is, going off the numbers, one of the most powerful weapons.
But you said that last week about the breach cutter.
Yeah, it actually applies to all of them. It does. Sometimes it feels like, obviously it doesn't. Obviously, because the Sabata, you just put on paper, or the Stubby, or the GK2, this doesn't quite live up to it. But the Shard Diffractor does, I think, or maybe it doesn't. Still, it's very strong. But my opinion on it has sort of fizzled out and become less warm, except towards Volatile Impact Reactor, which I absolutely adore. Because to me, it's like a weird, mostly single target damage weapon that's masquerading as something that can do AoE, but can't really, except with overclocks, which is fine. But
have you actually tried Flamethrower and Sticky Flames?
Yeah, of course I have.
Just what that is.
Yeah, except the Volatile Impact Reactor is worse.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I've not really used it enough to have that stronger opinion, but I've used it enough to make 3 overclocks on it, because that makes sense.
I'd argue you haven't.
You are very rude, and we'll get to it.
Yeah, it's not dilly-dally. Let's get to it. Oh, I should probably explain what the series is, in case there's any newcomers. We each present an idea for an overclock, one clean, one balanced, one unstable for the weapon in question. And we verbally assault each other based on our ideas. So my clean overclock, it's just called Refocusing. I feel like I could have come up with a better name. As you can see, there's a turret in the icon. It's a turret. So
I can't see that.
This is not in the same lane as Turret Guy. Don't worry. This is much simpler, right? It's a clean. It can't be too strong. It doesn't actually increase the strength of the weapon. Shooting a turret redirects the beam towards its target. But this basically means when you're shooting at a turret, the beam will come out the turret and go towards wherever it's aiming. So, it doesn't change anything about the beam, but it applies to literally any friendly thing that can shoot. I've decided. So, like the turrets on the Minehead, Bosco, and Betsy, if you want.
Oh god.
Which is just added. It's
fucking ridiculous. It's a clean, Harry.
Yeah, but it is a clean. It doesn't increase any of the stats. It doesn't. Well, I guess it adds a new function. It doesn't change anything about the damage done or the way the beam does damage or whatever. Most of it's the gun has remained completely the same. The turrets won't be the same though. So how do I reason this into existence? I say it won't be doing you much favours against most normal enemies, but it will be doing you a massive favour against flying enemies, I think. And would encourage using Hawkeye system too, because you use Hawkeye system, you mark a patrol bot. That's good, because that's one of the best things about the Shard Diffractor is overheating patrol bots. But I think most people often find themselves not being quite able to. The patrol bot always dodges, or your aim's not quite there. But in this case, you'll be right on the money. You'll be dead on target, and also just against Mac Terror in general. If your turrets are shooting at a hold of Mac Terror, just shoot the turret with the Shard Diffractor and it will do the work for you. Also against like
But,
flying small enemies like shockers and shredders. I think this works.
Doesn't the turret already do the work for you? I get
Against
the
the
patrol
smaller
bot thing,
stuff,
but
yeah.
if it's shooting the Matera are dying either way. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
but
if your laser's the one that's doing them in.
if you want them going quick though, like a tri-jaw. So okay, so what are you saying? So it's not actually
I'm saying it's
that
so
overpowered.
needlessly pointless. it's just fucking shoot them. Just do it yourself and have your turret be by your side. Like,
Problem is,
so
I
does
can't
it
really
use
come
turret
up with.
ammo?
No, of course not. You're not.
No, so your
It's just the
turret's still
beam.
shooting then.
Yes.
But the beam's now also coming out of your turret.
Yes.
Okay.
What about like fighting dreadnoughts? Right, the dreadnought's coming towards you, so the turret's shooting its back, and you shoot the.
Oh, so you can get an angle on the turret that's behind him, but not his ass.
No, it will be its ass if the dreadnought's coming towards you and the turret's behind it.
Yeah, but how do you shoot the turret? Because surely the dreadnought.
There'll be most angles. If you're not facing the dreadnought directly, you'll be able
Well,
to
the thing
hit it.
is at this point, Harry, right? You're kind of pitching the idea is that if you're a kind of shitty ass aim, which I appreciate, don't get me wrong.
So I don't understand why you're so angry.
What makes you think I can hit the turret with the laser? What makes you think I'm accurate enough to hit the turret if I can't hit other things?
I don't know. You'll have to figure it out.
No, I don't, because I don't think it should be in the game, Mary.
You just need to out all of my.
No, just most of them.
It really is most of them.
Normally, you reserve these whack ass ideas for goddamn unstables, but you've whipped your whack ass cock out, and you've gone, you know what?
It gets worse. It gets a lot worse.
Thing is, right? Honestly, as much as I see it as needless, if you just the shooting of the turret and then it auto aims the laser, honestly, fine. Right, but get rid of the fucking Betsy.
Sure, why not?
Bosco.
Okay, fine.
Like that is some ridiculous ass shit. But no, honestly, otherwise it doesn't reduce anything. It just adds a feature, which is as far as clean's concerned, it knock your socks off.
Although, frankly, now I think about it, I sort of regret doing this because, in my opinion, just a clean that sort of just adds a little bit of damage or something is something I'd actually really like for the shard diffractor. So maybe I should have just done that instead. I did toy with the idea of maybe it would increase the beam damage slightly as well, but that's a bit silly considering it's like an aimbot. It says like the last word in the description is this is the most literal embodiment of aimbot possible. Or at least it would be with Bosco. No, because the smart rifle isn't a robot, but Bosco is. But I guess when we're cutting Bosco out. He's been fired.
Well, I would say, you know, I mean, obviously it was partly a joke, my pointing at the turret, but seriously, if your whole point is that you have pinpoint accuracy with using the laser and those things because you're AI enhanced, Bosco is a flying, moving target.
I know.
It would be harder to hit him than the stationary.
I mean, Betsy could like stand on Betsy, like to shoot into the turret. But
but Betsy doesn't even
just
always
for fun.
shoot or like target them.
Because you're not even always going to have Betsy. It's just for fun. That was. What about point extraction turrets?
I don't like fun. Well, then I don't know.
That's why you play Fallout 4.
I play Fallout 4 because I hate myself, and I don't want that on the record. I just started playing Fallout 4 because I played all the other Bethesda games.
All the Bethesda games, even Battlespire.
Well, yeah, no. I've just played Skyrim to death. Not really, not as much as you have, but for a normal person, I played it to death. And the other Fallouts make my eyes hurt as good as they are.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. That's not. Yeah. That's. Shut up. Let's go on to your whack ass idea.
Yeah. Now, as much shit as I gave you for yours, right? Well, yeah. When I told you this before, because you mentioned that it's a very popular idea for the flamethrower that's been around for like since Overclocks, which is Fair enough, because it's not that inventive of an idea. It's just a laser pack. You shoot the floor and you fly off, but now it's with the laser instead,
Yeah.
which is something. I think it's something. You know what I mean? It's something. I think you've got to admit that it's something, and it's something.
I think
You know
I
what I mean?
agree that it might be something.
It might be something. Uh, But literally, yeah, I mean, it's just movement. You know, at
You
the end
really
of the
could
day.
fly with this, though. You could like push
Yeah, you
yourself around
could.
and like go up and down. Like it's very dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous. And you can already kind of, not really, but you know, you got the thingy on the grenade launcher, so it's not unparalleled or unheard of to launch yourself with engineer secondaries.
I mean, it's
So
the
I
kind of
thought,
thing
do it.
that no. Okay, I respect this because I believe that this should be in the game one way or another. But it's better on engineer than it is on driller.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
especially since this laser has infinite range, so you'll always be hitting the floor where you're looking. So you could also use it in combat.
Don't you have to be airborne though for it to push you though? Surely, you can't just you can't push you off the ground unless if you're standing on the ground.
I suppose, yeah, it'll be like, you know, if you're jumping, like if you're in air, then it will push you.
'Cause that's
like,
how the
onto
others
the
work.
shotgun.
Yeah.
Although it would be pretty funny if it always just knocked you back. You've got to admit.
Also, I think when it comes to actually using it in combat, it's probably along the same lines as RJ250 compound, but better than special powder because special powder can't really be used in combat. Those shots that you're using won't do anything to enemies, but the whole time you're using this, I would sort of just be hovering above enemies while shooting down at them, like tap firing. It's like just lasering them
Yeah,
from
and
above.
especially with the way that it auto reloads, you actually get a quite good air time.
Well, yeah, you might actually. What I
Yeah.
might do if I'm fighting a horde, I might just go straight up and then it'll reload before I hit the ground, so I can go up again. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's once again we went with more spectacular cleans, but obviously there are increased damage, like increase some other boring stats. There are always options for a clean, but yeah, we went for some interesting ones. I would say, which is new for me. Normally I don't with cleans.
No. So my clean for the Thunderhead is quite boring. Moving on because I don't really feel. I don't have the strength to criticise this. I don't really see why I would though. That's the thing. I do contemplate if it should be a clean because this strikes me as more similar to RJ250 than Special Powder because the full strength of the thing is still in play. It could be very, very useful in combat, which is why I think maybe some nerfs, some penalties might be in order. Maybe it has a slower rate of fire and a slower recharge rate. It reloads slower, so you can't cheese that.
And it's a clean because then you choose whether or not you actually want to, and it's like, you know, it's just a gun, and then you can fly, and then it's a gun again. So shove off. What's your balance?
I'm not telling you. No, damn it! I should have said. What I should have done. It's like the Peter Serafinowicz thing, where he's like, Jimmy, I don't think that's any of your business.
Yeah.
Okay, my balanced overclock for the shard diffractor. I was meant to change the name. It's called. Actually, no, it still works. Triple split diffraction. So you can guess what this is. Shoots 3 beams in a spread, and the beams deal half direct and area damage. Simple. So it's like the 2 extra beams sort of go outwards diagonally. You know, you need to get up close for this to benefit fully from this, but I like it because it's like more area coverage. That's what I want from the shard diffractor. So I did it. It just says someone's been playing too much Hades. Yeah. So this is very close to something tied in the game Hades. I'm actually not going to get into that because that would be boring. What this started off as, though, is even more similar to You're Unstable.
Don't spoil it.
I have to because I don't care. Where it would like the 3 beams would shoot off from the first enemy you hit, behind it. But I sort of just decided I'm just going to double back a bit, not only to decrease similarity, but also I think this is just better, where it's more like a beam shotgun than some weird thing that hits an enemy and then like splits off behind them. I think it's just you just have 3 beams coming directly out the weapon. It will be good at single target up close, and it will be good against hordes like from medium range as well. I think. I'm not sure if half damage for each is too much, like too little. I mean, but it's probably right because you get more like if all 3 beams hit the same target, obviously, and you get more area coverage too. So I think it works. I need your input.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea in concept, you know, especially since I had the same one.
Can I just point out, it doesn't exist in practice, so there is no other. It only exists in concept.
Yeah. Well, so if I read that right, and by read that I mean heard that right, because I can't see anything. If anyone doesn't know, yeah, I'm actually blind. I'm not blind. I'm not. But so
why isn't there a blindfold in the game? Why isn't there a blindfold?
Because there's no eye cosmetics, which there actually has been a bit of a. I've seen a couple of Reddit posts about that. People are beginning to notice.
Yeah, you can watch our video about it.
The video, but I think it might.
No, it is.
Might feed into it.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Tear this down.
So it just shoots 3 things, right? It just does that.
Yeah, but the other 2 are like diagonally outwards. It's not just 3 beams in the same place.
Diagonally outwards that are weaker than the main one.
Yeah. No, they're all weak. They're all.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I think. And what was the negatives other than just the weaker? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a balance. You shoot 3 beams.
Yeah,
I think all half. They do half damage. Half direct and area.
Is more than valid. I can't really see fault in that, other than it.
Well, I think it's shit.
Well, it's a sideways. It's not really a sideways like upgrade. I don't think well. Technically, it is because you're doing like you half the damage, but you're putting in 3 times of it out. So you are doing more damage, but not inherently to one target.
No, and what it sort of takes away is sort of like the very long distance precision madness that the Diffractor is capable of. That sort of is taken away for the most part because you get the most single target, like I said, up close. And very good area coverage at like medium and up close, I think. Medium and up close. It's mainly area damage, or it's like an area damage and a close range overclock.
What kind of like jutting out are we talking? Like, are we talking literally probably 45 degrees?
Maybe
sides?
A little bit less than 45.
Yeah, because then really you're going to be shooting at something, and you're going to be shooting at like the corners of your screen or the sides of your screen.
It's maybe 30 actually, so it's like fairly tight.
Yeah.
But it's like it needs to be angle where at mid range you're hitting like 3 quite distinct points. There shouldn't be any crossover in the AOE. Basically,
be. And if you want to do all 3 things to hit the same target, it'd have to be either really big or you're very close.
That's what I like. I like that idea of that play style as being what it encourages.
No, I honestly, this is one of the most balanced I've heard.
Yeah, because it's only got 2 points to it.
Yeah, which I think I can't really critique much. I think
you would have
critiqued
it if I left it as it was because you'd
maybe
try and sue me.
Well, that is the issue. We don't really. I mean, I do after, but Harry's normally come up with stuff. We don't really talk about ideas until like now, when Harry's put the presentation together. So it's very possible, and has kind of almost happened a couple of times, that we come up with the same ideas. I
had to stop you from. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Actually, maybe I shouldn't spoil that. Well, no, it's no details. He basically almost came up with. We were sort of workshopping beforehand some of the overclocks for the minigun, and you almost came up with one that's exactly the same as one that came up for the Thunderhead.
I came up with like 2 ideas, and I said them both to Harry because I couldn't decide which one I wanted, and one of them was already pretty close to what Harry had, and then like as I was trying to like fix it, see if I liked it, it basically became Harry's one. So I had to like
Anyway,
stop.
our highly attractive audience is probably getting impatient. So
I think if they're willing to watch these videos, I don't think they're capable of impatience. I
Right.
think these are the most evolved humans.
here we go. A slightly less balanced overclock.
Thank
Tyler's
you.
balanced overclock for the shard
Harry
diffractor.
apparently has a bunch of shit to chat. Or
Not a
chat is
lot.
just short. So I'm just going to... and there's not much to it, really. Every, like, 10 ammo you put into something will apply a pheromones effect to the target, and you lose a bit of damage. So it's just a little bit extra, really. I just wanted to use pheromones for some reason. So this is how I've used it, which I think is alright. And I went with target pointer because that also then makes sense. It's like, look over there! Ooh, look! Attack that guy! Is what the laser's doing.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. The damage could do with a bit of reduction, but then again, I don't expect the pheromones to do much. It's just a little extra something.
It will do quite a lot, though.
Well,
especially when you're an
so
engineer.
You're gonna say.
I don't know, because I could use this alongside turret whip to a quite devastating effect. And just the shard diffractor in general would benefit maybe a bit too much from this. Actually, no, not massively, but I sort of like the idea of perhaps this would be better as an unstable, where we mostly take away the direct damage and replace that with the pheromones effect. I like that idea. Personally.
Yeah, but
that can't be done as a
know.
balanced. I do think the damage could be a little bit like. First of all, what damage are we reducing here? It says less damage -1. Is that direct area or both?
Both.
Okay.
And I didn't specify. I had ammo, which wouldn't make much sense because it's -1 ammo. But
I would reduce ammo as well. I think.
Well, the thing is, though,
Maybe like half a clip less, like 50 less.
I don't know. Well, I think you've got to bear in mind that the pheromones isn't that. I mean, it's going to be nice, but it's not going to be. I don't think that game changing for it. Like, obviously, you think otherwise, but like, for grunts, they'll be dead by then. Right?
I think
or at least
otherwise,
very close.
because I've used firebolts, and I know what I would do is I would pheromone the Praetorian or an oppressor and set them on fire with the same weapon, like I do.
Yeah, which would then use more ammo.
And then there'll be
right. So it's not as ammo efficient and draining as because you mentioned that we could technically pheromone 50 targets, right?
Yeah.
The shard diffractor is quite unruly in you won't do exactly that, and you want to spend more because it's still very much capable of killing. It just now has an additional gathering effect.
I see what you're getting at. This is one of those ones where I would really want to use it and then come up like I don't feel too comfortable judging it this much beforehand. I mean, obviously I do.
But it's not like it's really added, so you.
No, but I want it to be. I want both our balanced overclocks to be added. These two are the ones I would pick out for lot. So I'll just say that. Okay, I'm slightly more convinced. I think some greater penalties might be in order, but not by much either. So maybe
it could also it could need more ammo to apply the effect or something like that.
I was thinking
or a chance thing maybe.
Yeah, I think as it is, you would either decrease the damage a little bit more or make it use a little bit more ammo. I'm not sure if 25 might be too much. Maybe 20 or maybe 15 or maybe 15 or 20 is the right place. But 20. That's like 25
that would almost
like
kill a Praetorian, right?
Yeah. So you also have to deal with that, and that would be annoying to me. Like there's not actually many enemies
you get
to
the
be able to
pheromones
use
on them. Yeah, it then wouldn't last long.
Okay,
so, I know.
You know what? I'm convinced it's not that bad. Maybe reduce the damage slightly, but apart from that, it's pretty. I mean, it's good. That's the point. I thought it was slightly too good. All right, that's fine. Let's just move on. Let's leave it. It's shit. I was actually speaking of shit. I don't mean that.
Your own one, Harry.
I mean, speaking of whack ass. My unstable. It's called Frame Breeze.
Frame breeze.
Yeah. It's like
Does
brain.
it apply
It's like brain
cold?
freeze. No, and yes. Well, yes, but actually no. Because I just put all the information up on the screen because it's important. It won't help that much if you read it, but you should read it. Not you, people watching.
Study his every words.
Because the first point is increased target heating / cooling. Plus 50%. Right? So, immediately applies whatever temperature you're applying, much stronger. So, if you take the upgrade, it's 150% of your damage being converted. This is important, right? Because we decrease the direct and area damage by quite a lot. By which I mean -5. I did. Alright, I'm going to have to rework this already slightly. We'll get into it. I'll explain it as it is first, but then there's something important that I need to change. The big thing is pressing reload. So it's like you switch firing mode to cold. So if it's cold instead of heat. And you can switch around.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I actually gave a pause there because I need to make sure you're still listening. Okay, so a big point about this is when it comes to heating with the shard diffractor, it's based on direct damage. You don't actually heat up enemies in the area with the area effect. It's only the direct damage, which I didn't quite realise. So part of this overclock was just decreasing the direct damage a lot. I mean, we decreased both the direct and the area damage by 5. But it's also removed the weak point bonus because this overclock is meant for temperature shock. It's just designed to allow the shard diffractor just temperature shock. However, and this might be a penalty I might remove or say shouldn't be in it, much longer recharge time if you switch temperature. I guess that doesn't make sense because you would be forced to recharge before you switch back and apply the other stats effect, which means it'd be completely useless against
to 0.
What?
Like, you know, it recharges basically by filling in the main tank up with whatever it does, right? Maybe when you switch temperatures, it goes straight to 0 and then it recharges. So there's significantly less that it starts from. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what that last part was, but I like the idea overall.
Well, yeah, because normally you'll shoot, right, and you'll use about 20-30 ammo, and then it will fill that back up. If you were to then fill up to the max, if you were to switch firing modes, it wouldn't actually use, but it would take away the entire thing that's in the clip, and then it would have to refill it normally.
Okay, so every time you switch is a reload. Okay, I like that more, and that would also encourage you to. We wouldn't have this stupid recharge penalty. It's plus 3.5 seconds. What was I thinking? Because it would also encourage. We get rid of that, and then it would also encourage you to use the recharge rate mod. I think, which I wouldn't normally use because this case you don't need you don't usually need you wouldn't need a massive magazine for this. I don't think. No. Unless you would need more than 50 ammo,
especially since applying the temperature shock, we won't actually need that much. You need some amount of ammo to apply the initial one, and then you only need a bit to apply the second one, right?
Correct.
And yeah, and you probably wouldn't actually need a quicker recharge to actually be able to deal enough of that effect with the recharge. I think there is a very fine balance of this weapon. Like, if used poorly, I think it could be fine. You know, like being able to freeze and do fire, whichever you want, it would be nice. But if you can get the timing down and the build down, I think this could be pretty fucking broken, which isn't a bad thing.
No, that's how it should be. I think.
Yeah. If you learn how to use the gun and build it right, it should be broken. That should be how it is with basically every fucking overclock.
The problem, though, that I noticed was, like you said, when it comes to the shard diffractor applying heat, it's only from the direct damage or the target it's directly hitting, at least. So something that would probably need to be added, because I don't see this as really a single target overclock either. Probably more AoE, but you could use it for single target damage, but not against Dreadnoughts. So you would need to
Well,
make
it
it
would
so
be a heat
actually.
build, right? Like for the AoE, you would use the fire effect that you apply easier, right? Like that was the thing. Like it applies fire better. Um,
Yes,
yeah. So you'd use the
but
fire
the
to do
shard
the
diffractor by
crowds.
default doesn't apply fire in the area of effect. It's just the thing you're directly hitting. So
Yeah, but
you need
then
to
once
add
that
that
thing caught
function.
fire,
I suppose you're right, but I like the idea now of adding that it applies the temperature in the area now. I think that would be necessary to make this overclock work.
maybe.
Because it's not based on dealing damage at all. Any direct or area damage, really. So we sort of decreased it, but it increased like the heating. So the only reason I increased like how much heat it applies is to balance out the fact that I reduced the damage a lot.
Yeah, because you will be dealing less heat.
Yeah, so 50% might be too small. Whatever it is, it needs to at least be as good as it is normally, perhaps even better. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely one that needs. You're right. It does need some fine tuning. I need to sort of. Well, we're not necessarily going to come back to it, but I would sort of need to figure out, is this actually what kind of playstyle is it supposed to push you towards? It could even be right. You just use it to freeze shit. Because I would do that. I think I might end up doing that.
Well, yeah, I think it would be very nice to have that option be there. I mean, obviously, I did a chilling blast on the grenade launcher. Like, I
Chilling.
think it would be very nice to have access to freeze in some shape or form with basically every character. I think it would be nice if every effect is available to every character via somehow.
Yeah, but I
I
think the
don't think
point
it's.
is, I don't know if you noticed this. Gunner and Engineer are probably the two that would be most broken if they had the ability to freeze,
Yeah,
which is why they
obviously, I
don't have it.
suppose. But it's not like suddenly then nothing that like if freezes out of their grasp, then all hope is lost. They just need a cryo driller, right? And then they are broken. Which I get that it's team and they like that doing that on purpose, but like and maybe cryo scout as well if you want to go there. But like it's not like they can't have access to frozen enemies. It just means they are locked out of it, and they can't access that like
Pardon me.
kind of build. They can't really temperature shock. So and it's like if it's just an overclock for a single gun in its like half of a firing mode, what I mean, you have to switch to that mode. I think it's fair enough, right?
Yeah,
If you want to use cryo, then go through all these little doorways, and eventually you'll find it at the end of the tunnel using like this overclock or something like that, or my one or whatever. Like, yeah, if you want to use a desired effect, I think you should be able to via some means. Especially since they could add, a lot more overclocks, and effects are always nice of a thing to add. But yeah, honestly, I really like that. I
wow.
think what I think you should do some shitty ass fucking cleans more often because that has resulted in some nice radical ones. I think. Oh yeah, I mean, it obviously could be broken, but no more broken than like some other things. Um, like being able to temperature shock efficiently. But like, thing is, if it's the way I'm picturing it, you would only be able to temperature shock once. You wouldn't be able to chain it that much, right? Because you would use like a bunch of ammo to set them on fire, switch to freeze, and then you'll like quickly recharge to like 20, and then you can apply enough cold to temperature shock it. But you can't really apply enough cold before reloading again to
No,
freeze them. Um,
no.
so you would have to kind of stop for a second and then freeze them or switch back to
Yes.
fire.
God, just to be so good. Like, just I'm just imagining like you're using the freeze thing, and you're like, you can just laser like stuff like breeders from like across like, massive caves and spitballers. and just gun them down with
Yeah,
the
that would
smart
be
rifle.
so nice.
Obviously, the breeder will
Just-
go down instantly, but spitballer, then you whip out the smart rifle.
Well, literally
it's-
just freezing them is just literally you could just walk into a cave and it's just all too much. You just press pause on some things. It's just like, okay, you're frozen, you're frozen, you're frozen. Now we'll get on with the other things. Like,
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
did fail to consider this would be the longest range, the most accurate form of freezing there is. Like the
Yeah.
only things that come, well, the only thing that comes close is, well, snowball and ice bolts, I guess, both of them.
yeah.
They
I
both
mean,
have
the,
drop
the,
off.
the Zukob's way of doing it, obviously it's not accurate, but you could get it long range.
Yeah, but you
it
couldn't
would
do
be
it.
really
Not
awkward.
not a breeder though.
No.
Not
I
with cryo
suppose,
minelets. No,
Yeah.
no, sir. So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Obviously, there's a. I can tell that you like the idea, because this is not refined, right? And
I don't know.
that's
I
usually
like
how it
this-
is. It's about agreeing on the idea more than it's about agreeing on the numbers I've got here.
Yeah.
Because we
Honestly,
workshop all of it
more
anyway.
often than not, we are pitching the concept of. Wouldn't it be nice if it could deal this status effect, or
Yeah.
if it did this?
And then we try and talk it into a maybe balanced state.
Yeah, how they could actually implement it, and then we kind of nitpick the details. So, and then sometimes with like Harry's stupid fucking clay. Well, not obviously. I didn't mind the original one, but the extra shit was ridiculous. We will just straight up disagree on the concept, which is not the case for my unstable.
No.
because
No, actually, I
Harry
hate it.
Straight
It's
up,
stupid.
fucking stole it. Well,
No.
my one is an unstable version of Harry's balance.
Or what my balanced was at one point.
And I shouldn't be looking at it now. I made that little icon. You probably can't tell since it's
the
so
prison.
official looking.
I know, it looks like it came straight from the game itself.
Yeah. Called Glass Pyramid. At this point, you could probably assume what it is. But on contact with a thing, like an enemy, basically it then chains a bunch of lasers to whatever's nearby. Like it will just basically connect rod them. Which originally I did have it like where it would like spread out and shoot out to the distance, but it's like it's not really going to hit anything. So I'm just literally it will like if you shoot a Praetorian and there's like a bunch of grunts around it, the lasers will come out of the Praetorian and go into those grunts.
It's not actually like a chain though, is it? It doesn't go between them. It goes from the Praetorian.
Yeah,
to
no, the Praetorian
others.
is like
It spawns
the
multiple
Praetorian is
beams.
the pyramid. Yeah, multiple beams from a single point, and once the little beams that hit the grunts won't go anywhere. That's the yeah, and no more piercing, which I think makes sense.
It's not a thing,
Yeah.
Tyler. I
not a thing?
thought we'd run into this. It's not a thing.
I swear it.
I think I realise now. I thought, hold on, why did he mention that? It's not written here. I removed it because it's not a thing. I removed that point. I probably should have also changed what's written here anyway, because you have written less AoE and smaller beams deal half. Oh, I see. So it's less AoE on the main beam, and the smaller beams deal half both AoE and direct damage.
Yeah.
Right, I see.
They are weaker beams.
The important question though is, how many little beams can it do?
I have 8 in my head, but I'm not sure why. But how many is in a rainbow? What is there like a what's?
I was just about to like tab out and have a look. I just realised I can't. Do that.
Yeah. Okay, there's probably some like letters rhyming words. But like however, and I think it's 8, might be 7, might be around there. I think it might be 8 or 7.
I like 7.
Point
It's
is-
lucky. It's a lucky number.
The point is it doesn't inherently have to be rainbow, but I would appreciate it.
If it made the beam a
beams that
rainbow. Oh
came out
my
of it
god.
rainbow.
Oh.
Right.
No, they're all
Like, it
different
doesn't have
colours.
to be.
They're all different colours, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There'd be the
And the main
there'd
beam's
be-
white.
Yeah, which
Oh my god.
obviously is unlikely.
That makes
but
me.
it would be a nice
that part of
touch.
it makes me want it the most. That's like the most attractive prospect.
Yeah, but because like overclocks are cool and all, but they do not affect the visuals of the gun. Like
Neurotoxin
at all. Most-
payload. It's like the only one.
Does it actually do anything?
Well, when it comes to the visuals of like the projectiles and whatnot.
Yeah, but I suppose actually, yeah, projectile-wise, it does change.
Neurotoxic
So
payload, hydrogen
it's possible,
propellant.
baby. Yeah, and I guess that they do add projectiles sometimes, But so yeah, it's on the table, but I didn't expect that, and I don't really hope for it. It just would have been a very nice touch. It would be a very nice touch if white main beam, and it comes out, and there's like the red and yellow and green and blue and orange and violet, something like that. I think it went going along those lines.
So
I think
just a
there was some of
song.
them.
Plays a
Yeah,
song.
it's a song. That's what I
Stop
like
adding
grew
like
up listening.
trivial like accessories to this thing.
I'm just really. Point is, I think it is a nice AOE while not inherently adding AOE.
So
It would
on the subject of AOE, I'm thinking like basically just remove the AOE radius.
probably a good shout, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, because obviously this is a lot, right? I don't think it's game breaking in how much it does, but that you're shooting one enemy, you're shooting like 8 more. So I'm
Is
really
that an
stuck with the
elephant?
number 8. That was some fat ass fucking truck driving away. I'm surprised you didn't hear him. He was braking down the hill earlier and it was making this screeching sound and it just didn't pick it up.
So
You're welcome.
I think I have one more question and I've forgotten what it is.
All right.
Oh, what kind of distance, like from the main enemy, are we looking at for how far that small beam can go?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, like if they're in each other, it will still count, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no minimum range, but I think long range wise, let's go with like Turret Arc's a bit big, but like maybe 30 meters. Like, I mean, I think that's because that's not really gonna. If it's like a dense swarm, that's not really gonna come into effect, right? But
No.
if it's on the lighter side of swarms, it's at
You
least
could
not gonna.
light
It's
up a
gonna grab a
cave.
couple. It's gonna. I don't know. It'll look cool as hell, right? I want there to be enough of a radius to have the
Using this
lasers.
against turret controller sounds fun.
Imagine using it against a like swarmers or that kind of thing. Like
It'd be
breeders,
really weird against swarmers because it will like kill
it'll be
the
a very
main one
short
instantly.
instant of thing, but it'll like erupt into like a firework of like
So
color.
weird. No, I like I did the turret controller thing because it would hit like 9 of them at the same time, and you can just. That sounds quite ridiculous.
I suppose it probably might also need to get rid of the fire effect.
No,
maybe?
no, I want that part to be kept more than anything. Then you can actually set like that's what I think that's why I like volatile impact reactor so much. It's the area fire that the shard diffractor doesn't have normally. It's incendiary AoE, so keep it.
I don't know.
About that.
I think this is definitely one of my more wackier ones,
Morbius.
but I think just the my morbier ones. But I think it's
I'm
definitely
gonna make an overclock at some point. This is cool. It's more than time.
I think you got to do it soon because I think the meme's already dead.
I've already done all my gunner ones. It's not in there.
Yeah, so maybe
I could change the one.
Maybe
I could change the overclock that's called the Reckoning into its morbid time.
The Morbining. Yeah,
that's a long way off spoilers, by the way. That the Reckoning is I actually don't mind saying this.
Teasing your gunner thing is that's the thing, right? Because when we started doing this, we were making like the stuff like basically for the video. It was like a couple days before we put them together. But now this has kind of taken so long in that because we're only doing it once a week that we're just kind of getting ahead of ourselves. And we both have gunner done.
Anyway, so the Reckoning is my coil gun unstable. So that's like the last one in gunners. Arsenal that we'll get to.
I'm gonna do mine just for the balance sake. Pachinko balls.
Yeah. I think I get. We'll probably discuss this off air, but I think they might be quite similar.
Yeah. Honestly, that seems to be the pattern. But I think I don't know what you say. What you have up next? Do you actually have the up next gunner? For the final page, because again,
so my clean overclock for the minigun is anyway, yeah. All right, that was it. Well, that was very spontaneous. We didn't simultaneously more focused than usual, but we also went off topic a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. We
And
did,
next time
actually,
will
quite
be
a lot.
the minigun. One of my
Yeah.
favourite weapons.
And right, because it's end card.
Yeah, you
The
say what you
thing's
want
gonna
now,
be
it's fine.
appearing. Yeah.
Morbid Zone.
Yeah. Uh, we are. Oh, I say we are. I'm up, and I think we're both up for the idea of doing like a best of, like not inherently the best of engineer, but like the ones that we like the most from the engineer. We refine the most, like off screen. Like we apply what we discussed in the video, and then we will basically do like a pitch video.
So,
like literally,
hold on.
like
Wasn't the idea it's one video per class, and we then
yeah,
one overclock for each gun?
weapon.
But
Yeah.
but is that one each, or is that one between us?
That is one total. We picked
So 6
who
total
came up with
for
like
each
the
class.
best, the best overclock for that weapon, and we refine it to the point where we could literally see that in the goddamn menu. Like, we maybe even like
I can see them
beta
all.
test it, like, but yeah,
I can see
but
them
like,
all.
and then we legitimately it becomes like a
Oh,
pitch video.
I want to point out something really cool. Something that they tweeted about.
I think I may have seen what you're about
Yeah,
to
just
talk
wait
about.
though, because I need to be able to
Alright.
put it into words properly.
If while you're looking for it, I'll just finish up. So yeah, if you want like I mean, best of is the best way of putting it, but it's not like we're going to be tooting on our own horns. This is literally, it's just going to be us like whittling down the ones that we see the most potential in game and the most realistic chance and the kind of funnest ones that we could see in game. And like, probably wouldn't send it to Ghost Ship, but we would actively want them to see it, and we would appreciate if you somehow got them to see it. If you would want that, and you're still listening, so you're a pretty dedicated fan, up to you. Either that or you skip to the end, which is also fair. Then yeah, please drop a comment.
Okay. Anyway, so on
yeah.
Twitter, someone made a tweet in regards to. Well, I should just read it. If you blended all 7.8 billion people on Earth into a fine goo, you would end up with a sphere of human goo just under 1 kilometre wide. This is a visualization of how that would look in Central Park. So it's just a big ball of gore. And then Deep Rock Galactic quote tweets it, saying, "Sneaking this into the new biome ideas folder. Wish me luck."
Yeah, which is, first of all, we mentioned, or actually, I think we actually mentioned a living biome when we were suggesting what biome ideas.
Well, the
in
flesh
podcast.
biome is like my number one idea, and people throwing it around as well in the subreddit. I've seen like, someone came up with quite a good one, like a pitch.
Yeah.
It's like the flesh biome is quite a popular idea.
Yeah,
and the idea of it being inside a giant loot bug.
Still, but this is the thing is, I think this is partly a joke, right? Definitely partly a joke, but it is interesting that he is blatantly admitting that they have a new biomes folder.
Well, I think that's still part of the joke, but I think it is true. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's definitely they definitely have that.
And realistically, it's not that surprising. There is definitely going to be a new biome, right?
Oh,
like they are going to add
within
a new
the
biome.
year, I think. No, not within the year. Within a year.
Within like the next 5 seasons, to season 5.
I think. I think season 5 latest we'll see a new biome.
Yeah, we'll definitely see a new biome, and as we mentioned, it's very possible that season 3 could have a new biome, and now it seems it's very possible that it could be a living, flesh-eating, gooey one, which is
Brilliant.
cool and completely unrelated to the topic of the video. Thank you for watching.
If you're here, if you're still here, you clearly didn't care about.
You just
the video.
like listening to us.
You just love listening to our dulcet tones.
Yeah, and you'll look forward to our podcast, which is going to come out like it normally does. I would say it always does, but it was iffy last week, and but yeah. Thank you.
I was visiting Solitude.
It's only a matter of time before we spend a podcast just talking about Skyrim instead of Deep Rock.
I think we should. At least I was supposed to ask if it's still recording. You need to be like, okay, like, subscribe, bye.